comfortable at the end of the day because they were able to successfully make it happen in map number 1. Now we're going to hop in and see if they can do it again on map number 2.
All right, well, straight into it, and it is going to be AG to silence some of those questions or maybe answer some of those questions. Let's have a look and see what they are going to bring to the table. It's just the one orm so far for Do that I can see, so it looks like it's going to be the 4 rifles set up, at least to kick things off on Ankara.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they position here in this opening round, especially with Do specifically. He's going to be going towards that B bomb site to kick it off. A lot of pressure, though, going to be felt in mid very soon from the side of Imperial. They've got 3 players already pressuring the underpass, trying to get that early information to go their way. Meanwhile, they've also got Ryuzao solo working his way towards this B long position, trying to scout out if anybody's going to be playing on the backside of the B hotel. But I like the setup so far from Imperial. Very aggressive, getting that early information, but all gamers still pretty turtled up.
Yep. Goken being very passive for the moment. Happy to just take a chill pill and wait for the rest of the team to maybe try to figure something else out, but not seeing much. Feifei commanding the troops around the map. A very reserved approach from Imperial in particular here. Jue, you know, he's playing a reasonably forward position. And he might get his opportunity in just a second with LKK around the corner here. It is not going to work out for Jue. Pika's advantage paying dividends for LKK. The same could be said for ZY, who is quickly able to equalize and gets back out to safety as well.
Yeah, he does take a lot of damage, though, in the process here. He's down to about 20 for the remainder of the round. Very surprising, though, to see Jue missing that opening pick. It looked like he had the angle perfectly, but Lukum just getting the better of that exchange after the missed shots. So it is going to be Imperial now working their way towards the B bomb side. All 4 players pushing up slowly here. Feifei going to try and sneak through behind the enemy lines. He's going to be spotted out early on, though. Do takes him down. ZQ and ZY as well, able to collapse onto position. Do finds a second, and he's still holding on here to the back of the B bomb site. Do going to be spotted out there on the drop down, still somehow alive on the back of this bomb site. Lukum and Ryuza, though, they can't find their way in very carefully. It is going to be Lukum who tries to force the plant here, but it's just not going to work out for him. Even on the lurk, gets it done, and all gamers, they pick up the opening round.
Yeah, really nice stuff from Do. When you look at what he has to do on that site, you know, he gets those 2 kills, and yeah, that's fantastic, of course, but if you get those 2 kills and then he instantly dies, you start to lose control of the site. The fact that he's able to dance around the boxes and survive makes things even more difficult for Imperial to get in and try to take control of that site. So it's an underrated thing, the survival aspect of what happened in that round. Looks like we're going to have a technical pause here. Something on the Imperial side needing to be sorted out.
Yeah, I mean, coming out of the pause, I'm hoping Imperial can show us something a little bit stronger here. They had the right idea, I felt like, in that first round. They got the opening pick even to go their way, but that's when AG things happen. They start poking out for information by themselves and then quickly convert the round back in their favor and just close it out really comfortably. So it's going to be a tough first half, I think, for them, especially knowing this is the side where they actually need to win on because it is a blacklist-sided map here, and they're already going to be down 1-0 on the GR side for all gamers, which is a risky start already in this position. So I'm hoping at least during this tech pause, they have a chance to also just kind of regroup mentally and come back strong here, because this is definitely a map where I don't picture it being quite as close. All gamers is very confident on this map, and this is one they could definitely run away with.
Yeah, first round certainly showed that. Even though they suffered in the initial exchange, they're pretty quickly able to bring that round back to a fairly comfortable win in the end. So what's the issue that's happening in the Imperial booth, I wonder? Hopefully something that can get sorted out pretty quickly. It's interesting always to me, like, how this sometimes plays out, right? You play a whole map of a game and then it's like totally fine, and then as soon as you jump into the second map, some sort of issue crops up somehow.
Yeah, unfortunate timing, but hopefully they can get it sorted out quickly, and then we'll be right back in it here on our second map. But we do have some good ones on the way as well today. I'm actually excited to see Baisha take the stage later on, as well as our first Vietnamese team appearance. So
Right.
I'm sure the home crowd eager for that as well. I mean, you could tell actually during the first map, I was surprised that Imperial was the team they were cheering for, knowing that Imperial's the team that's kind of taken out Vietnamese teams in the past. So I'm interested to see kind of who they support from some of these other regions moving forward as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think there might be just an aspect of cheering for the underdog, right, as well. Everyone wants to see the underdog perform well. And in this case, that pretty much means cheering against China. But yeah, you can definitely imagine how things are going to play out when we get into that third match of the day. Ankara House and Pacific Makta. I'd imagine will be a little bit louder in here.
Yeah, right now it's really just going to be wondering how things will play out once we return to the server here after our tech pause. It looks like they're just about ready to go here, so we should be commencing in just a few short moments, but it's going to be interesting to see what Imperial has in store for us coming out of this one, because they need it at this point. I'm not sure how the round differential might play out at the end of this group stage, but I'm hoping for their sake they can keep things close, because I can definitely see a world where it might come down to a very close match between these guys and Ankara House for that second spot in the group, knowing that they're pretty even-leveled teams, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting prospect. I'm not sure what day that match actually is going to get played, but I suppose that's a conversation for later on in the piece. AG off to a good start here on Ankara, and we'll see what they're going to be able to do in round two, maybe avoiding losing that initial frag and having to deal with the refrag situation.
Yeah, surprising to see, at least initially, Feifei had a second arm out for Imperial. He quickly, though, after missing the opening pick for them, is going to go ahead and swap that out for the AK. But an interesting start here for their opening setup. A 2-2-1 here across the board. Looking for that early information in the mid-tunnel. Going to be Adrian here leading that charge, trying to push forward. Du holding the other side of it, though. He's got the right angle. He's ready to go. And there's not a whole lot of forward pressure just yet, but he's definitely going to be the first to feel it.
I got to say, I think Du, he had a good first map and already started quite nicely in the first round of this second map. So I've got a lot of faith that he's going to be able to lock down that B-bomb side if that's where he continues to play from. A lot of time still available here for Imperial. Setting themselves up outside of A, but it looks like the read is in here, and even now a bit of a push happening in toward mid from ZY. He's going to come close to the likes of Feifei on this rotation across. Somehow AG, they've just called it, and they've stacked toward the A site, which is going to prove quite advantageous for them. ZY finds that opener onto Feifei as mentioned. And now a 4 on 5 for Imperial to work with. This time Shui is able to get his revenge onto LKK. ADRF has opened up that B site though, and the bomb is headed in that direction. So rotation back across now for AG required.
Yeah, now Imperial, they do have control over the back of the B-bomb site, but the numbers are not in their favor here. They've really got to lock things down for a successful post plant. A lot of that pressure is going to be on to ADRF here, and Gokin, who goes down very, very quickly to Jue to make this one a 4-on-2. Ryuzao and Adrian, they've got to hold on for dear life. At this point, they still are just now getting that C4 down, but it's already a full collapse coming in right around them. ADRF on the off angle. He's got a chance to surprise them. He's able to only find one. The retake comes through, and all gamers find another.
Yeah, it's always hard to get more than one from that position if the spacing is right from the retake, right? Unless they're kind of lining up or they're right next to each other, it generally ends up just being quite a straightforward trade because you don't have anywhere that you can go. You know, you can't dance around, play behind some kinds of cover or anything like that to make life a bit more difficult. You just get pre-fired and you're kind of done. So good stuff from AG, good spacing on the retake. Straight away into round number 3, where once again AG with the 2-1-2 setup. And Imperial Oh, they found themselves an opener there. ZY just gets caught off. Was that through the smoke?
Even though, right on the other side of it now, I'm not sure if they're going to be prepared for him on this off angle. Ryuzao going to be spotted out, almost taken down there, hit for about 90. Now just stuck behind the long door here. Even going to go ahead and back off, though, not too eager to try and force the issue, but he's already done the damage here. Now he's just got to hang on. Do going to back off as well and really wait to see what Imperial will do here. But I definitely like the approach from Imperial so far, just poking around, putting that early pressure towards the B side of the map.
Yeah, and nothing necessarily required in the mid-round when you've already got the opening kill. You do start to stretch the defense a little bit. You can see like there's no coverage on mid at all right now for all gamers. Only one defender over toward A. If Imperial can gamble towards the correct site, they can really put themselves in a very advantageous position. You do have even being a little active in toward mid and do really wanting to find the timing here. It'll be tough to win 2-on-1. You know, when you're a sniper, you don't really deal with those kinds of trade situations super well. So that still works out favorably for Imperial.
Yeah, now they've just got to close it out here as they work their way towards the B bomb side. It's really only going to be on to ZQ to try and stall this push. He does have an interesting angle, though, to play if they leave him unchecked here. They really have to be careful of his positioning because this is a nice spot to catch people off guard here. A lot of times people just go and don't check it, and there you go. There's the advantage here. ZQ able to find two, even swings in for the trade, and now it's down to the 1v2 for Gokun, who's already been spotted out by Even on the back of the triple stack. Here comes the double swing. They get it done, and again, all gamers convert another round.
Yeah, I mean, it's a critical mistake, isn't it, right? You can't be leaving your corners or your positions unchecked, and there's 30 seconds left still. They have to be taking things a little bit slow, and they've got 30 seconds left on the timer. It's not as if you don't have time to try to keep an eye on all of the positions, or at least work your way a little bit slower through the site and clear those angles out. Either way, punished by AG. Now a 1-for-1. And straight up, we're back to the double orm setup, right? ZY is back over to it. And obviously do down earlier in this round, but back to the 4-on-4. And ZY, he is not messing around at all. Gokun, surely has he heard him? Seems very wary. Yeah, and is. So ZY just getting a little bit too antsy and does get punished for it.
Feifei as well. Nice follow-up shot there in mid. Makes this one a 4-on-2. Jouet and ZQ still alive. Jouet, though, he's hungry to answer back with this pick. Spots out both Adrian and Gokun here, but it's not going to matter. He's taken down quickly. ZQ now left in a 1v4, and he is not in a great position here. Stuck on the back of the B-bomb site. Little does he know, that's actually where the bomb's going here. It is going to be Ryuzao and Feifei just creeping up behind him. They get the plant now positioned on the B-bomb site, and he's completely pinched now in this 1-on-4.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't really blame him for the decision to go back over to A. That's where you would expect the C4 to be headed. It was the site that had already been taken. Nade, not quite. Oh, it is indeed actually going to catch Gokun. But obviously he's spending a little bit too much time in the wrong side of the map, so even by the time he gets back over to B, there's really not a whole lot to be said about this round for ZQ. Bit of aim prac, if nothing else.
Yeah, there's really no time at this point. It's just going to be run down here by the rest of Imperial, but honestly, good play calling coming out from them. They get it done, get their first round on the board, and now hopefully they can start to claw back a little bit more aggressively and make this a much closer game, because one round is still not enough to feel safe just yet.
No, definitely not. And not the way as well that some of these rounds have played out, which have looked really convincing for AG. That one, you know, it felt like a bit of a Hail Mary, maybe ZY just trying to get aggressive, trying to change the pace up. Doesn't really work out for him. You'd expect they'll move back to a bit more of a reserve play style from here, and that is what they do. Do with the single orm setup.
Some nice early utility, though, at least coming out from Imperial, trying to get that presence towards the midsection of the map here, and A-long as well. You can see ZY kind of lurking towards that frag on B-long. Not going to find anything just yet, though. Playing very reserved still. All gamers, I'd say, across the board today, very surprising in how passive they've been playing.
Just a progression through mid this time from Imperial, so they are changing things up. It's keeping all gamers guessing. Oh, ZY once again able to push quite far forward and get a bit of info over towards B, and that's a critical kill. He spots no one else. He'll now know that with that push coming through from mid, there's really only one place for the attackers to be. Feifei is working hard, doubling down, getting a double kill. Has kind of opened the bomb site up, but the early info for AG has allowed them to rotate across quickly and bring the numbers back in their own favor. Quick little flank coming through from Even here as well. Multi-pronged pincer strike for the retake.
Yeah, they have the numbers here, but they've got to break through quickly. That's a great start, though. Jouet takes down Lucum. Now it's going to be down to the 1-on-3. ADRF trying to hold on, but it's not going to be for long. All gamers find themselves a fourth round here and honestly swing back exactly how they need to. And this is where the pressure is on Imperial. Maybe attack pause potentially coming out from them, not sure, but it is going to be an interesting one to see how they try and rebound here, because this looks like a significantly stronger map for all gamers so far.
Yeah, I mean, you called it, right, even before we got to watch this map, and I think I've got to agree with you that you've called it correctly in this case. AG are just looking supreme on this map at the moment. I mean, they did drop one round, but felt like it was a bit of a miscellaneous round, bit of an individual error that makes the difference in that one. Aside from that, it has looked almost 100% from AG so far. Imperial will set themselves up outside A, but they haven't got the C4 here, so it's not as if they're 100% committed necessarily to this. We'll see what they can do, and if they are able to then open up the site, you can call one of the rotators across from the default on the other side of the map, collect the C4 on the way, and then get into the site itself.
Yeah, it's interesting so far, Imperial. They've put a lot of emphasis on this mid-control play, but all gamers has been kind of reluctant to try and challenge onto these positions, really playing a lot safer on the back side of it. So Imperial, they're going to get that opportunity again to try and sneak through mid, but this is where Even and Do have a lot of coverage that's not necessarily visible to the side of Imperial to work with. Even going to have a chance here, but he's already taken down very quickly. Now Do has to hang on. He's already good for one here. Does he know there's one underneath? Oh. Yes, he does. Already two big kills to lock this one down, but look at ADRF. He finds a second as well. ZY, though, lurking in the shadows, gets the trade, and now things look a little bit risky here for Feifei as he tries to get this bomb plant.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to do so just yet. ZY punishes him as well. Trying to take the one-on-one, and Goken's just, again, kind of left him out high and dry. ZY, once again, hiding around that corner. Sure, Goken might be able to find the angle there, but too easy on the trade from Jouet. It's all working perfectly for AG right now. Just too much information control, and the rotation's way too quick for Imperial to deal with at the moment. AG seem like they know at all times where Imperial is going.
Yeah, right now it's looking like a really strong half in the making for all gamers. There's only 3 more rounds left in the half as well. If this is an 8-1 half, it's almost an unwinnable situation for Imperial, so they really need to get at least a couple more rounds on the board before they switch sides here, especially considering this is a blacklist-sided map, so them being already down on this side doesn't hold well for their future, but it's going to be ZY who already gets the opening pick, 5-on-4 right off the start of this one, and all gamers again looking strong to start off the round.
Yep. ZY's been an absolute beast in this series. 8-5 at the moment. 7 out of 8 of those kills have been headshots. So not a whole lot you can do against him right now. And he's putting himself in a position to potentially get back-to-back MVPs, I dare say, at this point. Let's see what he can do here as well. Even helping out in this case. He was spotted. Rio Zhao at least will be able to get one frag back for Imperial. LKK does the same. And that sounds good in isolation, but when you think about it, it's just equalizing kills at this point in time. Shui, he had no idea where Rio Zhao was.
Yeah, now the pressure's on to Even to lock down this B-bomb site. He's got a couple players Nearby, though, it is going to be a full rotation coming through. Lukum, I don't even know how he knew that he was behind that box, but ZQ gets the shots anyways to take him down. It is going to be the bomb, though, rotating into the A bomb site. Now they have a full chance to plant, set up for that post plant, and get things locked down however they want to play this one out. But a pretty quick rotate is actually coming through already.
Yeah,
it's going to be even in ZQ, already in the A connector. This is going to be tough to hold off.
Now they're aware that they're going to be coming through this direction rather than from the spawn side. Seems like Gokun is all over that. Won't make the mistake of missing the shot against Even. Now onto ZQ. Can he again show us another highlight? Unfortunately unable to do so. A bit too much to do in the 2-on-1, and Imperial, they convert themselves a second, so they, continue to hang on. But they still don't have that real good grasp on this half that you'd want to see yet. Time's obviously running out.
It always feels like a very close battle, even when they're scraping these rounds by, and it's only been 2 of them out of the 7, so it's going to be some early pressure on mid. And Do almost gets that kill onto ADRF, gets the leg shot off before having to fall back here, even getting contested on the mid pillars as well. Has to be a bit cautious for the remainder, as they do again give a lot of mid control over to Imperial. This seems to be where they've been able to find some of these openings. I'm curious to see if they'll maybe get a little aggressive on it one of these rounds here on the side of AG, but Imperial, they've got the time on their side, still a minute 45 to work with, but they're still hungry for these mid picks.
A lot of nade usage out from AG at the moment, but not finding too much success with those. Pretty nicely timed smoke over toward the A bomb site. We'll keep Imperial at bay for now, and Do spots the info in mid. ZY as well is able to strike there. So straight away, all gamers, as soon as there's an opportunity, they're able to take the advantage and run with it. Shui again has locked this position down against LKK ever since losing that first duel. He's on for more. 6-2, AG continue their rampage on Ankara.
Yeah, now down to the final round of the half in Imperial. They are in desperate need of it here. Otherwise, it's going to be a 7-2 half against them to try and close out on their defensive side, which for them is normally their weaker side. So curious to see what they're going to do on this final round to maybe change up the pace, but it kind of seems like the usual suspects here. You've got the mid set up already for Imperial, a lot of early pressure towards A long, and AG as well, playing nice and comfortable in the 2-1-2.
Extra player being rotated back toward the A site here for AG. Sensing the pressure in that direction. ZY is fairly advanced in his position, so he's getting a bit of information for his team. Knowledge is power, so they say. Once again, we'll turn our attention toward Jue. Oh, almost got the timing wrong there, and in fact probably did, as LKK around the corner does punish him for that over-aggression. Luckily for AG, they still have members on this site, but they're starting to get run down, and ZQ, he was spotted as well behind that box. ZY might be the saving grace, particularly if Do can find one on the entry. Huge fight to happen right now on the back lines, but it won't work for ZY, and it's just Do. It's not as if AG didn't have the early rotation and the players in the position to win that round, but they just couldn't win a single duel, basically.
And that'll be the half here, 6-3, a nice closeout from Imperial to at least secure the final round here before the side switch. But the big question now is, will that be enough? A 3-6 half still going to be difficult to overcome as they now go on to the GR side to try and see what they can do with a solid defensive half. But all gamers still, all they need is 4 here on the attacking side. And for them, this is usually where they're a lot more aggressive and comfortable.
Is that a missed smoke out on the A site from Imperial? Looks like it's gone a little bit too deep. No, going to be keeping AG at bay. Re-smoke will come through this time. So no harm, no foul in the end.
Yeah, right now it seems like AG, they're just kind of poking around to see how many players are actually playing on this A bomb site. They've already spotted out one, maybe two of them, but it is going to be difficult to figure out where they want to execute just yet. It is going to be Jouet looking for those openings towards the mid position here, trying to find out if anyone's actually holding on to the GR spawn, which is pretty much exposed, but Feifei here gets caught a little bit too over-eager on the push out of vents. He's going to be taken down by ZQ, and now all gamers have the go-ahead to push in towards this A bomb site.
Yeah, Rayo's out now, going to take that position up and try to run with it, but he can't go anywhere. There are players back behind him, and ZY just once again continues this tear on the entry roll. He's even going to push even further in on that rotation, and Imperial have nothing to do. A 4K from ZY. He makes it look so easy there for AG.
Yeah, I mean, right now on the blacklist side, that's the guy you've got to be scared of, sitting at 14-7 in the second map, and he doesn't show any signs of slowing down just yet. It is going to be up to Imperial to try and find a way to change the pace in this round because their time is running out. It's already 3 away from a map victory for all gamers, and that'll give them a series if they're able to pull this one off. It is a 3-man stack, though, to kick off this next round towards the A bomb site, so they're adding a little bit of extra pressure on the side of Imperial, but as we've seen, sometimes even the stack isn't enough to stop AG.
Doesn't look like AG is going to try anything too tricky on this attacking side yet. More than happy to just 5-man into the A-bomb side. An absolute artillery barrage over the top. Hasn't worked out. ADRF, he's been able to find himself a couple and holds the fort for Imperial. Now in the 1-on-3, has at least secured the first. The rotation still yet to come across. He has the C4. Or does he? He hasn't been able to find it. Finally picks it up. And maybe that's thrown Imperial for a bit of a loop. They haven't actually opted to go straight into that A site. They think maybe he's rotated off. So he'll be given the time to make this plant happen, and then he can try to play out the 1-on-2. It's just going to be a question of whether or not he is able to gather the info before this flank comes through, and, well, he won't see much. Big decision to make now. Does he go toward B? If he goes toward B, he has a chance of winning the round.
Yeah, he seems to have the read here. This is a really good decision from Du coming out. Senses that the long flank could be coming through, but now it's all about the timing here. He doesn't have a lot of time to work with to clear this and make sure he gets the bomb down before the counter rotation comes through from Imperial. He's going to get it down quickly. He plants it for the safe off angle on the back of sight, so he's definitely playing the correct position you'd want to be in this situation, but it's still 2 of the best to go up against here with Gokun and Lukum on the way.
Yeah, but if he can strike with this first shot, then there's a chance. Excellent one onto Gokun, now down to the 1-on-1, and that favors Du in this position. He makes no mistake, a huge 2-on-1, which in fact was actually a 3-on-1 if we take into account what happened earlier. And if there wasn't a nail already in the coffin for Imperial, I think that's it.
Yeah, it's got to be a bit demoralizing to come back and try and win after a round like that, but this is where they've got a fighting chance to do just that. It's going to be Jouet, though, who already gets the opener. Lukum goes down. That's a 5-on-4 as all gamers gets more and more aggressive.
What's going on here?
Look at this. Atri just sneaks behind, gets the easy double kill, falls back uncontested, and now Imperial, they've got a chance to win this round.
Yeah, but they've lost full control of B, so that's going to be the big problem for them. If AG can actually get into B and get that plant down quickly, then the time starts to work against Imperial. At this point, though, I mean, it's taken them a little while to get into B and get the plant, and that has given time for the rotation to come across. Ryozao is starting to make his way through. Big, important duel right now for ZY. If he can get the better of Gokun, then that is really going to open things up for AG. Imperial biding their time, that is for sure. Are they running that timer down a little bit too much? I'm starting to wonder. Gokun does catch ZY, but Jouet on the flank. He could be absolutely massive here. Has to be. It's another 1-on-3 for all gamers, but he makes it close. Is there time for the defuse here? Feifei looks like he's going to be able to get it. Seems happy with the result. This one's gone around.
Wow, very close one there. It was just down to a matter of seconds. You thought all gamers might have had a chance. There was a great flank. And even in these close situations, they don't have the numbers, but it doesn't matter. They almost scrape by in almost every single round. And this is what you've got to be prepared for when you're up against a team like All Gamers. But this time, Imperial, they're coming back swinging. Gokin able to get the first kill, already takes down Du on A long. The rest of All Gamers, they're going to back off quickly here. They don't want anything to do with this fight. So now it is going to be up to them to try and close this one out. They've got the man advantage, but ADRF and Ryuzao both at half HP or less.
Yeah, a lot of the util usage here from AG to try to help take control of mid, or at least try to force Imperial away from that area of the map. It's a fairly intelligent rotation across, though, from Imperial. They've decided to 3-stack over toward B this time, and that is where All Gamers are headed. So not only do they have the advantage in numbers, but they also have the advantage in positioning at the moment. Lots of info gained by Feifei with that push out from Bence. He doesn't see anything outside of A, and so the players over toward B, well prepared. LKK finds himself the double, even the triple, and goes for more. Can't quite nail it, but the trade is in, and Imperial, they survive another round.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see, especially backs against the wall. And then all of a sudden, they've come to life here. 5 rounds on the board, starting to get things a little bit closer towards that tie, but they still have a lot to be done to make that their reality. All Gamers, though, this time it's going to be a 4-man push aggressively towards A-Long early on for that information. Nobody meeting them on the other side of it from Imperial. It's going to be Gokin sniping backside of mid, so there's really no contest here to do in this position. But this is a bit of an awkward stack as well. There's 3 on site, but they're pretty much all stacked on this staircase corner.
Yeah, I don't mind this from AG, right? This is what worked for them at the start of the half, and they're going to go back to the tried and true and see if they can make that happen. Smoke in for the connector, and Shui able to find the entry frag. It is ZY as well, making some kind of inroads, and Ryuzao, he even backed away through that smoke. He didn't decide to try to fight for the site with his teammates. That's allowed AG in 5-on-3 for the post plant. This looks pretty dire now for Imperial.
Yeah, there's almost no way back into this one. The smoke screen makes it even more challenging. They're going to spot ZQ on the back of site here, but they've got to push soon. There's no time left to work with. Even he's got the angle to shut it down. Good for one. ZQ good for the second. Gokin left alone, falls to Jue, and it's on to match point we go.
Yeah, just way too much control of that site. And if you're trying to 3-man retake through one really tight position, a choke point, really. It's not much of a chance in that one for Imperial. So 1 round required for AG to secure the clean and easy 2-0. That's the way I would describe it if this ends up being a 10-5.
Yeah, a lot of pressure onto Imperial, and it seems to be maybe a bit of a missed call here. They've stacked it A, but All Gamers, they have their whole team positioned here to execute now onto the B bomb site. The flash comes over the top from Jue. Here comes the push. Gokin goes down without a fight, and this could be it here. Lukum now trying to force his way back in through the B hotel. He's naded out of position, and All Gamers, they have full control, but Adrian already on the rotation through the GR spawn is able to find one, but it's going to be a tough retake to make happen.
Oh, you say that, but I mean, this is a bit of an awkward position from AG to play from. They can't find themselves the ability to kind of spread out on this post plant. They're all sort of locked into the site itself, and granted there are a lot of angles to clear, but it's not as if there's going to be a flank to deal with right now. Imperial have that in mind at the very least. Time now starting to run down. Ryuzao will open the account initially, but they have to be pretty quick here, Imperial. I wonder if they've left it a little bit too late, even if they find these kills, and that seems to be the name of the game here for AG. Defuse is on just in time by the looks of things.
Wow. Literally down to the millisecond there for Imperial. Cutting it close, to say the least, but they keep it alive at least for a moment longer, but they've got to do that 3 more times if they even want a chance here to take this one into overtime. All Gamers, though, it's just coming down to a little bit of a misplay on their late positions there and going down a bit too soon. But now Imperial, they're going to be playing pretty much the same setup this time around. They've shown they've got a pretty successful retake towards that B bomb site, which makes them a lot more eager to keep stacking things towards A.
Well, a bit of a different approach this time from AG. Much faster up in mid is ZY. He's going to see if he can maybe do a bit of damage there. Wouldn't necessarily be the worst of decisions to maybe just have him try to lurk in through mid, flank into the A site potentially, and let the rest of the team go into A, but not ending up as the option of choice. He's going to go back and regroup with the rest of the squad, and it's Do that'll push his way forward instead with the sniper. Interesting choice to put the Orm there rather than a rifle. If it's going to be the A split, which it definitely looks like it will be, but hey, when you're going to hit shots like that, then maybe they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, no rotation either from Imperial after that initial pick. I'm surprised Imperial hasn't moved one of these 3 players off of the A bomb site. It leaves their mid completely exposed here. If Du wants to keep pushing through, there's really no one who can actually stop him except for Gokun if he's still checking that angle, but it requires Gokun to basically cover half of the map by himself.
Tough ask, that's for sure. 30 seconds left to get that plan down. AG, they have really drawn that rotation across. They could literally walk into A right now, and it looks like that's what they're going to do. They don't even need it. 10-6 the scoreline. And AG secure the 2-0 over Imperial. A commanding victory, it has to be said. I mean, a little bit of a cleaner sheet there on the second map than the first map, but either way, it didn't really feel like AG had to kick it into second gear on Ankara. I felt like maybe they did have to do that on Black Widow a little bit. It took them a little while to kind of get rolling, but by and large, they were dominant in that series, and it sort of sets the pace for the CFS Summer Championship for sure.
Yeah, really just a good statement from them in their opening set here of the tournament, and now we'll see if they can keep forward just as strong here. But at the same time, Imperial, it almost felt like, especially in this map too, they put the pressure on them just a little bit too late, because those last 4 or 5 rounds actually looked incredibly close compared to the rest of the map.
Yep. Yep, so lots to think about for Imperial now. I mean, you were talking about during that series that maybe if Imperial can